Yeah.
But like you see like high school kids today that like they don't have jobs, but they're driving like a BMW. Like
I knew
I
someone that
drove.
driven. I know someone that drove a BMW in high school, but it was for sure their parents' car that they let them drive, and so that might be a
Yeah,
thing now. When I lived with Patrick, we drove an Escalade to school, but it wasn't like
I do remember Patrick's Escalade.
he didn't
Yeah.
own it. Like his parents owned it, but they wanted him to have it. I think that, and that was fine. They wanted him. They had
Yeah, okay,
they
yeah.
had other cars, but he wanted to drive that one. We drove that one,
Yeah.
and so I think
Okay, so I guess I understand the whole like if your parents are passing down a
well,
vehicle.
maybe they're just letting you drive it. It doesn't mean they're giving it to you, right? They're saying, "Hey, take this vehicle and drive
Uh-huh.
it." I get what you're saying, but does it really matter? I guess maybe the biggest thing is that maybe it makes you a target. But I don't remember
But
people getting their cars
but
robbed either.
like my whole thing is like if you're buying your kid like a new car or something
Mhm.
like that in high school and they don't have a job, like they're not paying for it. Like my whole thing is teaching my kids like responsibilities.
They
Like
made us
if
get a job that year, by the way. So I see what you're saying, but real quick on that
yeah.
story because I don't want it to go by. We when I lived with Marty and Priscilla,
Uh-huh.
they made us get a job that summer. I'll never forget that
Yeah.
because I don't remember the full story behind it, but every year they took us school shopping, right?
Mhm.
And so they were known for spending money on us, right?
Mhm.
Just to give you a backstory on that, not a lot of the foster parents, and I won't call any of the other ones out,
Mhm.
in New Mexico and probably other places, spend the money they get on the kids. They get
Mhm.
money for the kids,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And they don't always spend it on the kids because I've lived in 16 or 17 different foster homes in my life.
Yeah.
And a lot of times you don't get anything because you're just going to leave in a little bit. But Patrick's parents would always spend the money on us, right?
Mhm.
And so for the longest time, we'd go like major school shopping. We'd go to
Yeah.
Cottonwood in Albuquerque,
Yeah.
or we'd go to a big one in El Paso or something.
Yeah.
We'd just get whatever the hell we wanted.
Mhm.
But I remember that year. I don't remember why, but I think, well, obviously, I remember they let me drive. That was the first time. Like, hey, Will, I think they just told me to do it one day. Like, hey, back that truck out because they had a bunch of vehicles there.
Mhm.
And I was like, I don't know. Like, all right, where are you gonna learn? And then Marty took me around the block and taught me how to drive real quick.
Mhm.
And it was like, hey, now that you know how to drive, you could drive this car and stuff. And so it was
Yeah.
always like a life lesson, which was cool. But I remember them for whatever reason this summer, Marty was like, hey, he was the president of the Mesquite Water Association,
Mhm.
and he was like, hey, I'm getting you guys jobs for the summer. And it was me, Patrick, my other foster brother Estevan,
Mhm.
and I think it was just us three. There may have been a fourth one, but we worked at the water station in Mesquite. That was my first job
Mesquite.
ever. And he didn't have to pay us. I don't even think he made money. Now that I think about it, he was the president. It was like a volunteer job. He just
How could he not make money?
Because
it
he
a
was-
volunteer job.
yes, because they wanted someone. He was retired. He did another job for a long time, but I think he
Okay.
still wanted to work. And I maybe
Okay, so yeah, okay, I understand that now. Like it was just like instead of just like sitting at home and like not
yes.
doing
And so
anything,
we
he
went
was
and we did a
still out
summer
doing-
job, and we
doing
saved.
stuff.
We didn't spend any of the money. We saved up all the paychecks.
Yeah.
And that summer we used that money to buy school clothes and
Yeah.
then whatever else we needed to use. But I'll always remember that because my first ever school job. And that was the year like Patrick started to getting to use the Escalade, and then so we drive the Escalade to school and stuff.
Yeah.
But I do remember that it wasn't just like they were like, "Hey, take this nice car." It was like you're going to work for it. You're going to have values. And he did. He was really and I say he was because he's no longer with us. But he was a really good friend of mine, and he was really really good at a lot of things.
Mhm.
And I do know for a fact that for him and his family, I would not be the person that I was today if it wasn't for them. I learned so many values. I learned how to be loved. Like I that was the first foster family. I'm like, what? You guys are? I thought spending money on me was love, and I'm like, what? That's crazy. You must care about me.
Like you guys give a shit about
Yeah,
it.
and I remember
Yeah.
they were like, hey, like you're gonna have your own room, and we're gonna get you your own PlayStation. And it wasn't because they were spoiling me, right? That sounds like
Yeah.
somebody spoiling a kid, but it was they realized that I was trustworthy enough. They knew who I was before I knew who I was, and because none of the other kids got that. And I remember like, Will, we're buying you. They bought me a PlayStation 2 at the time, was the newest one. They put it in my room.
Yeah.
They're teaching me how to drive. They let me and Patrick take the Escalade. They gave us jobs, like all this stuff. And so it was like for the long, like I'll never forget that because I learned what it was like to be loved by a family. And I learned what it was like to be respected as a brother. Me and Patrick had our backs in almost everything, and we fought the way brothers do.
Yeah.
But we also had our backs to like everything that we do. did. And it, like, I'll never forget that because I didn't really have that up to that point. And so I'll always have like a super really good appreciation of that. And just like to this day, when I see them, I run into them, or sometimes I'll go visit them. It brings me back to this warm place where I'm like, man, like this is.
Yeah, because I mean, they showed you like you said, how a family is actually supposed to be, like how, like you said, the loving, the caring, the nurturing, like.
But it wasn't just that though. Like they were.
But like you never got any of that.
Yes, I never got either one, and so. My idea would be like in my head when I grew up in this abusive home, I'm like, one day I'm going to get a family and they're just going to drive me to the mall and buy me nice things. And it wasn't like that at all. You know what I mean? And it was like, so it wasn't just like the good parts of it. Like I remember at one point, they're Hispanic for everyone that doesn't know. And they would at one point only cook Mexican food. And so I never ate Mexican food. And so I was like, I'm not eating this. Like I'll tell them, and they're like, why not? I'm like, it's just like I don't like it. And then they're like, well, this is what we make here, so you're gonna eat this. And I'm like, well, I'm not gonna eat. And then I went to like the board, or like I don't even know what to call it, but the foster company. You would go there for like meetings monthly, and you would check in.
I was like, did you go up to like a blackboard or a whiteboard?
No, like a board of people. It was like a therapist. It was like a director, a coordinator, stuff like that. And they're like, how do you like it? And I'm like, they don't like feed me. Like, wow. And they're like, do they feed you? I'm like, well, yeah, it's just like things I don't like. And again, I might be misrecalling these facts, but I think they ended up telling them like, will you just get Will food that like he enjoys? And I think they might have been like, yeah, fine. And then we got home and they're like, we're not getting you food. Like you're going to eat the Mexican food, dude. And I'm like, I'm not doing it. And then like, I think I went for a while where I ate just cereal and ramen because they had it there. And then eventually I'm like, I can't eat this stuff anymore. And Priscilla was like, she was really nice about it. And I remember the full conversation. And Patrick was like, dude, just eat the food. Like, this is like my favorite food in the world. Yeah. I was like, I'm not eating it. And then Priscilla's like, we're going to Chopez, the restaurant in Mesquite.
And she's Mesilla.
Well,
is it in Mesquite?
It's in Mesquite, technically. Actually, it's not even in Mesquite. I think it's like in Vado or one of those small cities. I was thinking
of Palacios.
Chambarino, maybe. Yeah, you're thinking of Palacios. This one out there. And then she's like, we're going there. We're ordering food for you guys. What do you want? And I was like, I don't even know what to order. She's like, all right, we're getting you a gordita plate. And based like that, white people usually like that shit. Like, I'm like, all right, cool. And so like they went there and brought it back, and I'm like,
you didn't even like tacos, like.
I did, but like my version, yes, like my version of it. Like if you
apparently it was voted best Mexican restaurant like in the nation.
Yeah,
like,
I seriously doubt that.
No, it's true.
Okay, I doubt that it deserved it.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't.
So they brought home these gordita plates, and then they're like, "Hey, you're gonna eat one." I'm like, "All right." Like I agreed to eat one, but I'm not gonna like it. And I remember eating one, and I tried to not like it, like, but it was so good, dude.
You couldn't.
And I'm like, "See, I told you." Like I told you it's not that good. Like I'll have another bite so you like don't think that I didn't try. And like
because I'm out of cereal and ramen at home.
Yeah, and I just couldn't like take it anymore. I'm like, you know what? These are pretty good. And then so I ate the other 3, and then for like 6 months I would only eat gorditas.
Wow.
And then they're like, now we have another problem. Like we're not always
need to eat something else.
We're not always gonna make this or order this for you. And then so they're like, this time try this and try this, and then Priscilla would make chicken tacos and stuff different ways. And then now it's like my favorite food in the world. If I could only eat one type of food.
Well, if you're not gonna make it, we can go to Chopez and they can make it.
I was just so stubborn, man. But it's like that's the perfect like recollection of like what a good parent should do is buy you Mexican food. No, I'm just kidding. No, but they like not only do they supply the things that I needed for everyday functions, they saw something and they're like, all right, we're not gonna have this kid in our house that's like being a brat and wants to eat whatever he wants. He's going to be culturally diverse. He's going to understand these things, and he's going to eat the food because he's not in a place to pick what he wants. Like this is what we have. And so they taught me so many lessons. It's just one of many, and I could go through all of them, and it'd be like a million-year podcast. Yeah. But like it's those things, and so I look back at that, and I always think like I remember what that was like. And so I think that's part of the reason why I have a hard time forgiving my biological mom is because I know what a really good mom looks like. And not just from her. I mean, she set the standard really high, and there's other people in my life that have done the same. And so it's like, I remember those things. I completely value them, and I know what it's like to have a brother. And so that's why I look for that in a friend. That's why like I hold you to that standard. I can't just have a surface level friend. Like you're in all the way in, or you're not in at all.
Yeah.
Because I know what it's like, and I have a standard of what a really good brother should be like, and what a really good parent should be like. And so like I'll never know how to repay him for that, but I'll always be thankful for that, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.